This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47. We'll begin at verse 1, and it reads, Come down and sit. Salakia. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, and verse 1, and it reads, Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Verse 2. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Verse 3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to Kol Loyim, La Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai Ba'ashem. Kodash Bokatham. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teaching to rule well. I say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquath out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribing to this truth to you. I say shalom. It's your brother Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant. And I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And basically, I was in search of an article, and this one just came and fell in my lap. So assuming this is where the Spirit want me to go. It says politics. U.S. credit rating downgraded in shock move. Deterioration in standards of governance. And I was listening to a video earlier today by the elder brother Yasha Wamba from Dallas, and he was going into how this place is dead, it's over with. Although 2/3 of our people are still lost in the bread and circus, and just because a nigga can get, well, the brother Saint Benji, the beloved brother Saint Benji, made a statement like that too. He said, just because a nigga can still get some chicken and get something to drink, some liquor. He said it went from Patron to Casamigos to Taylorport. Yeah. As long as a nigga still get a nigga still get a buzz. He, not paying attention to this shit done, and this should be proof of it. It says U.S. credit rating downgraded in shock move, deterioration in standards of governance. So that's why I came with that Isaiah 47 and verse 1. It saying, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon," because America is that virgin daughter, because this place has never seen war. So the land of Babylon is ancient, like the Iraq area, like Iraq, ancient Iraq, and that landmass is still there. The scriptures talk about, Babylon the Great being, destroyed and whatnot. So, we know that's not talking about the same places, the two same places. This Babylon is America, And this is Yahweh Shah speaking. It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. This place is being embarrassed, it's being shamed, because this used to be, the land of the great, home of the brave. People would consider, everybody wanted to come to America to make their fortune. You got people trying to leave America now. Well, showing you that with the whole passport bros situation. If America offered what people wanted, people would go find their wife here. That land of the American dream is becoming an American nightmare. You know what I mean? These people fucked up with these homes. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that. They say the whole Airbnb thing bubble has bust. Owning property right now because inflation, everything been going up. It's lightweight a headache right now. So again, it's not a dream per se. It's more of a nightmare. And the world's seeing this. It says, I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. And that's Yahweh Shah because when he's come back, he's not coming back as a man. He's coming back as an angelic force. Coming back in his glory and in his full power. You know. So I'm gonna bring out a little bit of this article because, like I said again, it moved my spirit when I seen this. There's a lot been going on. Just the other day, I believe that was Sunday, they said that major trucking company Yellow Freight basically closed the doors. So 30,000 people are just out of work, and a lot of those people, like I said, if they're not retired, they would have to go find jobs to basically, because they're part of a union, the truckers union, but still, they would have to go finish out their job in another place. But that's not a good sign. If a major, in a major industry like that too, you got to take time to think about it. If something that we need, because trucking moves the country, trucking moves the world for real. Transportation moves, everything got to be moved by truck. Well, if this company basically and this was the company they said basically was literally, like they can move loads for a lot cheaper and whatnot. So that means that if that company basically had to resign and fail, that means the price of goods are about to skyrocket because everything costs more. Why do you think you get your cost of your groceries and all that? All that is figured out or equated by the trucking. You know what I mean? That cost is basically pushed onto the consumer. So yeah, we about to go into some hard times. Ezekiel chapter 7. Ratings agency Fitch on Tuesday downgraded the U.S. government's top credit rating to AA plus from AAA, citing an unexpected fiscal deterioration over the next 3 years, as well as high and growing general government debt burden. And that's a spirit because I was supposed to do a video and I forgot all about the video. Been a hell of a week. I was gonna do a video about how, because I'm looking at articles that say one thing, and then you look at an article to say another thing. Like you'll see articles where they're talking about that it's not going to be a recession, but then you'll see all these articles talking about how they see a recession coming. So this is talking about the division. But this credit rating agency basically saying that they basically in the next 3 years don't see things improving. Deterioration means the waste away. So if anything's going to get worse. Then it says government debt burden. Now, if the government's in debt, the company Yellow Freight basically was given a $700 million loan and they couldn't basically keep up with the loan. So just imagine how many other companies literally took out government money. Because you got to remember all that PPP loan shit and all that. You know what I mean? Well, this is the fruits of that. The dollar ticked lower following the downgrade. And not only did that happen, the dollar became weaker. At a time where you got these different nations, the BRIC nations, talking about coming up with, their own currency. Says the dollar ticked lower following the downgrade, which came 2 months after President Biden and the Republican-controlled House reached a debt ceiling agreement after months of political brinksmanship. The deal lifted the government's $31.4 trillion debt ceiling. So basically it allowed them to borrow more money and basically to utilize or basically take up more debt. So with that, that's Habakkuk chapter 2. That thick clay, that abatya. Which the U.S. dollar is not true money. It's a debt note. It says, in Fitch's view, there has been steady deterioration in standards of governance over the last 20 years, including on fiscal and debt matters. So they basically saying one of the reasons why they dropped their credit rating because of the way the government moving, especially in matters of debt. Notwithstanding the June bipartisan agreement to suspend the debt limit until 2025. The ratings agency said in a statement. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said she disagreed with Fitch's downgrade in a statement that called it arbitrary and based on outdated data. The investors use credit ratings to assess the risk profile of companies and governments when they raise financing in the debt capital markets. Look at this demonic looking bitch. This was unexpected. Kind of came from left field, said Keith Lerner, co-chief investment officer, Truist Advisory Services Atlanta. As far as the market impact, it's uncertain right now. The market is at a point where it's somewhat vulnerable to bad news. Right. So this can affect a lot of things. This can affect. It's not good. It's going to. You got people that play with money. Well, if the country's basically credit rating has went lower, well, people that's holding debt notes may switch that up. Instead of having so many debt notes, well, let's go ahead and diversify my portfolio and get more gold or silver, or change up my currency. And when you have a lot of money coming back to the source when it's not being used, then that's when inflation also kicks in as well. It says the dollar moved lower against a basket of major currencies after the announcement. U.S. stock index futures had yet to resume trading. And that's just going into more fact that the dollar is about to die, which is ultimately the plan of these devils anyway, because they want to X out the dollar and bring in a new currency. It's not coincidence that you got the BRICS nations trying to come up with a cryptocurrency as well, though. All these nations that's part of BRICS. Well, I know at least China and Russia already have a cryptocurrency, in the works, or if not already using it. I know China already has like a what is that called? A blockchain. Says in a previous debt ceiling crisis in 2011, Standards & Poor cut the U.S. top AAA rating by one notch a few days after a debt ceiling deal, citing political polarization and insignificant steps to right the nation's fiscal outlook. Its rating is still AA+, its second highest. After the S&P downgrade, U.S. stocks tumbled. So if they tumbled then, they're going to tumble again, because people, it's like the elder brother Amawaga Bar was saying, with the price of rice. Rice is basically saying price is going to increase. So you're going to have people that's going to do panic buying. So they're going to go, and that can make the price of rice skyrocket, because, you're going to have these managers that deal with the produce and whatnot, and they're going to, gives them the excuse to raise it. And then, like I said, people don't know no better, Again, this news basically dictates what they think they should do. They hear something on the news that they, with not understanding that the news can be used strategically. That's why it's called propaganda. It says in May, Fitch had placed its AAA rating of U.S. sovereign debt on watch for a possible downgrade, citing downside risks, including political brinksmanship and growing debt burden. It says, and the impact of the rating cut was felt across global stock markets. After the S&P downgrade, U.S. stocks fumbled, and the impact of the rating cut was felt across global stock markets, which were at the time already in the throes of fiscal financial meltdown in the Eurozone. Paradoxically, U.S. Treasuries prices rose because of a flight to quality from equities. So, not only does this affect, our economy, it's going to affect global economy because you got to remember everything is tied to this dollar, because America has the petrodollar, which they're trying to basically break ties with now. But I'm sure it's a reason why you got these nations like China and Russia that's stockpiling gold, because they know, the world is going to be affected to a degree. Not to a degree, it's going to be affected by, like, when they basically shit hit the fan, when this economy breaks. So, through the spirit, that's showing that this place is fallen. And that's why our people especially, well, we only care about our people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, God's chosen people. You are the Israelites, and we try to tell y'all, to repent and turn back to the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 32, verse 9. Rise up, ye women. And this verse is basically speaking towards these women. But it's, I think it's Zephaniah 1 goes into the men, and the men that settled on their leaves. The Lord is, making moves, and you're going to have individuals that, saw us out there on the highways and hedges, couldn't get it or didn't care to get it. And then when this thing sneak up on them unawares, when you shouldn't be unaware, you're supposed to be circumspect. Scriptures talk about a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. But a nigga not. It says, rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. And this, you gotta remember, when the economy is affected, when hard times kick in, who does that affect the hardest? Women. Brothers is going into these job cuts and all these different things. What does that produce? When there's a lack of work, crime increases. And the way the Lord did it is cold, because you had people with a little money out there. You had people that had jobs like that was working for the county jail and COs and shit, but they was able to apply for, the PPP money and quit or not have to work as much. And now money ain't, basically fruitful out there. Money ain't just, plentiful. Shit getting hard, especially because, inflation and whatnot. That's why you got crime increasing so much. So, yeah, the ones that's the most comfortable in this society is women, because you got so many laws in place. But when you have lawlessness, incontinency, lack of self-restraint, and just basically lawlessness, who is basically victimized the most? The weakest, which are the women. Scriptures even tell you that the woman is the weaker vessel. I remember a nigga tried to argue the fact with me. I say, the Bible says she's weaker. He just looks stupid, you know what I'm saying? He's like the elder said. I was just listening to a video he made. He said, just turn the other way on a Christian. Fuck, he sitting up here talking about you know the book and you in the book, but they're doing things contrary to the book. Like how he was doing a video about Jake that thought he one up to Israel. You know what I mean? One up Israel. And then the elder was like, he's saying as if like he not an Israelite too. Like just can't get it. Like the elder said, we moving on. Verse 10, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. The vintage is this place. This place is failing. You know what I mean? And it's only a matter of time before it's going to be completely evident in these people's eyes. Again, you could do little shit so people not looking at the bad times. People, especially our people, they not thinking spiritually. They thinking carnally. You know what I mean? That's just like a motherfucker. I've seen people do this in the street. A motherfucker might not have much. Like I remember even when we was in the world, I'm talking about nigga, where we in the world and a nigga would literally go to the club. He wouldn't have really no money. He might have $10, but he got a pair of $200 shoes on, a pair of $100 jeans, a $100 t-shirt or shirt, and based on his appearance, therefore they assuming T really got something. So he'd go in there and mac on a bitch and lightweight come up on a number just because of his appearance. And a woman, that's why, it was a man father supposed to gave, I said a man father, a woman's father supposed to gave her away, because she gonna look at the outward appearance. She not gonna judge his character, or his, you know what I mean? She ain't gonna know what to look for in a quality man. She looking at, I remember a chick said up there, big feet. You know what I mean? A female even said this recently. She was like, a dude can literally be staying at home with his mama on her couch. If a female is literally sexually attracted to him, she's not gonna friend zone a nigga like that, because she gonna want to fuck him. She only friend zone a dude that she's not physically attracted to, and then you know, you know, even though he might be the dude that's really a good match or a good dude for her. That's how, simple women think. And you got some dudes that slip in with that friend shit. You know what I mean? If you can keep a woman attention, you ain't got to be the most attractive dude. You know what I mean? Look at Steve Harvey. He was able to make them laugh. I heard Boosie say the same thing. But women are simple. You get what I'm saying? And that's why this shit gonna hit them in the face the hardest. You know what I mean? Like, you might have 1 out of 30 that's gonna adhere and take heed or listen. And the craziest part is women don't get anything. They get pretty much what they know from a man in some kind of way, some kind of way, shape, or form. Because they got a father or a brother. You know what I mean? A husband. These men done showed them, told them shit. Verse 11. Tremble, ye women. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bear and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Because it's about to be fucked up out here. You know what I'm saying? 2nd Ezra chapter 6 talks about the full storehouses being empty. You know what I mean? It's enough news that's came out about these food processing plants, and I just went into Aldi's today. Went into Aldi's, and normally they have like an extra section for their vegetables. And when I went in there today, it wasn't that extra section. So I've been noticing it's looking like the products are shrinking. Now, the thing with Aldi's is a lot of, like, they deal, like, I read up on it to a degree. They deal with, like, specific, like, farms and whatnot. Like, I believe, especially local to them, because that's how they able to basically give us the food for so cheap. You know what I'm saying? So, if it's, like, again, the economy fucked up. So, a lot of these places got to yellow jacket situation, you know what I mean? So, and then that's gonna make it harder for people that's already struggling now. You know what I mean? You got people that's making 6 figures talking about they struggling, and know why they struggling? Because they trying to live a certain kind of lifestyle. In actuality, if the less you have now is better than having all these luxuries and whatnot. Now, the Lord about to come take a lot of shit anyway, you know what I mean? You might as well look at the Lord come take all this shit. Now, who's to say how the Lord gonna do it? You got individuals that's stocking up on food, but I forgot where the scripture at, but talk about they do that in vain because other people gonna take that food, and the Lord gonna protect those that He want to eat. He's chosen. They not gonna have to worry about being eaten. Isaiah chapter 65. So, that's going into Ezekiel 7, you know what I mean? Bad times coming. But this place is truly fallen. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 28. And it's going into the devil because, Esau, Edom is proud. Says, 28:17, thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom. Because the Lord gave this devil wisdom, he have left hand knowledge. Look at his technologies. He didn't come up with that. That was the Lord, either putting it on the spirit, like with the whole atomic bomb. The Lord put that on his spirit to create for his downfall. It tells you in the scriptures in the book of I think it's Sirach, knowledge of wickedness is not true wisdom. It says, thine heart was lifted up because of thy pride. But it says, thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. This place is falling, What's that? Isaiah 14? it talks about how fallen, Lucifer, son of the morning. Matter of fact, I'm about to get that. And these other countries are seeing these things. I just want to get that Isaiah 14. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12, and it reads, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? These nations were weakened because when Esau Edom was in great power, these nations were weak. They kind of like that. Not to go to that fight, but that Bud Crawford and that Spence fight. As good as he is, he looked like amateurish. He looked like a beginner in the ring with Bud. And that's how Esau Edom looked at one point in time, because they had the technology. Esau Edom had the technology, while, especially, with that Hiroshima Nagasaki thing. But now we living in a time where these other nations have that same technology as well. That's what the book of Joel tells you, the nations to say, now the weak shall say, now I'm strong. Roughly paraphrased. So it says, verse 11, thy pomp is brought down to the grave. The Lord is making this place low. This is Jeremiah 51. I'm going to start at verse 8. I'm going to start at verse 7. I'm going to start at verse 6. Jeremiah 51 and 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. And I just read Isaiah 32. Rise up, you women that are at ease, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, in her sins. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. And you just see in the beginning of it, financially this place is, falling. Then that's, whenever, that's why I guess, when, I can imagine the times of Noah in the last days. That's why it talks about in the book of Genesis chapter 6. It talks about it was great violence in the earth. And the Lord's basically said he will have to cut off. Basically, the Lord was talking about how he had to judge the earth, but he said it was great violence at that time before he did it. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Their philosophies, the way that these nations, basically, America's tried to push its beliefs onto these other nations. You see the situation with and what was that? I forgot. What was that? Nigeria is one of those Hamitic nations. Although we know a lot of Jake are in Nigeria, but basically they passed that decree where they doubled down on they felon of homosexuality, because that's abominable to even those heathens. You know what I mean? That's deep, showing you how really vile of a man Esau Edom is. And the Hamites, they, some Hamitic nations, they'll eat, shit that's completely unlawful, like Esau Edom will. Steak tartare and all that old shit. I was just watching this Edomite eat that shit too. He take the time to get the onions and green peppers. And some meat he a cooking. He like he a, I ain't gonna say he ain't a chef, but he got a channel where he just make meat. And I'm trying to find different methods to make steak. So he make a lot of big pieces of meat. And then one day he just came out with that steak tartare, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's Edomite." He had no problem. He smacked that shit. He's like, "Oh, so good." It's like this devil. Like, But yeah, that African nation got upset. They were mad, basically, that America was going to try to push their ideology on them, just like Jamaica out here. Basically, it's a situation that Jamaican didn't want to acknowledge us. I guess a politician's um, wife that was a man. And the craziest part about it, show you how much the devil these people is, and like literally the Most High just got them wired a certain kind of way. They'll look at you like something wrong with you. Like he like, this not a man. I mean, that's not a woman, that's a man. But they up there like, here's the fact. It says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. And that's why these wicked ass philosophies are pushed all around the globe, and Taiwan. That's why you got China ready to go over there and do, because you see how America really is some full of shit. Because look at it, they did the same thing with Ukraine. Ukraine used to be a part of Russia. China and Taiwan used to be a part of each other, but because Ukraine and Taiwan got deals and work with America, and that's this devil trying to police the world, and then basically trying to have his foot on top. At the end of the day, he said we all gonna work together, but he want to be, like Mordor. He want to be what's his name, Sauron. He want to be like the Lord of the Ring. He said we all gonna get a raid, but my raid gonna be the most powerful. Huh? It says, verse 8, the point: Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain? If so, she may be healed. If so be she may be healed. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. And like I said again, you're just starting to see the beginning of the judgment of this place, like the financial woes. You're seeing, again, you got people struggling. You got people that make six figures where, like I said, that's 2 and 3 times certain brothers' incomes. And you got brothers, I mean, we all catching hell, but brothers ain't losing their mind. You got individuals that's like, I was listening to Elder Yashawamba, I was listening to the beloved brother Saint Benji. That's going into, reading comments, and these Edomites don't know what the fuck to do. So where do you think that hatred for their government? Why do you think 2nd Ezra 15 say what it say? About they not gonna regard their kings or princes, because they believe this their country, and they believe that these people that look like them have ruined it. So although we ain't seeing Jacob's trouble, we can see it manifesting. This is Revelation chapter 18. I'm gonna start at verse 3. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her ways. And the cup which hath fulfilled Slakia, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. Verse 7, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her place come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai power, who judgeth her. So this place has been so proud, and ain't really never seen no calamities or disasters. You know what I mean? Like, usually America's the country like they did with Puerto Rico when Puerto Rico was in distress, and they just left that fucking water in the heat. Proud, arrogant shit like that. So just imagine, you got. I was just watching this video with the Hodge twins. Them cornballs. They Jake too. I seen a picture of their dad. Well, I want to say they Jake. Going about their spirit. I think they Jake. You know what I mean? They be saying some old goofy shit like they really believe in America, but I believe they served in the military and all that old shit. They believe, you can work hard enough to overcome Esau's system, not understanding that the system is truly, it's created to hold Jake back. But the thing is, they were created to be destroyed or whatever, because they really believe in America, But it was a Edomite put up on I don't know if he was a Jake or what, but it put up on a guy that was homeless. and basically was fucking with dude. He like you know, basically hit him with he could be he, he he was talking about how privileged the individual was because he basically was sitting out there in front of his little tent on the sidewalk. He like, if a person wanted to walk past, basically they couldn't. And he was like, just how privileged individuals are. But this dude was so upset because he's struggling. You know what I mean? Like, normally you probably wouldn't even gave a fuck, but because things are so bad, people are just nitpicking things. You know what I mean? You know, look at the homelessness. They were just talking about New York City just based on that migrant shit. The migrants, I guess Adams kicked out like 100,000 migrants. So they just sleeping in front of the hotel that at one point. Now, why would you bring them there then? So that's gonna be an excuse for crime. I mean, you know, the shit actually like telegraphed simple too. I ain't gonna say all of it is, but that, you know, we was just talking about that. You know, I remember the elder Watzazak was going into that, like they're gonna use that, and then like so you got 100,000 individuals with nowhere place to go, and you not accommodating them, you not feeding them. So you know, what you think about that? So yeah, this place. I mean, like I said, and I liked it that what was that Ezekiel 28 because it said. Matter of fact, let me get it. I'm gonna go back and I'm not gonna read it, but I just want to show something. It said the kings was gonna see these things. It says Ezekiel 28:17, I will lay thee before kings that they may behold thee. So it said, I will cast thee to the ground, I will lay thee before kings. So he gonna do this in front of the world. You know, the Most High is bringing this, and you best believe, you know, these other nations are seeing this credit rating shit, because you got to understand different countries do business with different countries. So yeah, America's looking goofy right now. So it's imperative that you, if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, that you know, repent, come back to the law, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. You will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to God, Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rachakadosh B'Katah. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, thought to listen and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners that are abroad in the land of the other nations, appearing like the other nations. Subscribe to this truth to you. I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson. I say shalom, shalom, and my wife, blah, blah, blah. Shalom.